Today's episode of Running It Back is brought to you by Subway. They're not a sponsor of the show. I'm just going to get Subway later. Hey, if you're new to my channel, two things going on. I have two shows on my YouTube channel. The first one is the Sunday Night Talk. Comes out every Sunday. Myself and my longtime friend Omar Carmona break down the day's games, the happenings in the NFL that go on, and we have a little chat about it on Sunday night. We break down our thoughts, our experiences, our emotions, and we give out awards for the day every Sunday night. Check that out. Week 5 is in the books. We did that this last Sunday, so you can go back, catch up, see what's happening. Comes out every Sunday, the Sunday Night Talk. And, of course, my original show, Running It Back, comes out every Thursday. I've done 16 episodes of that already, so lots of stuff to go back and check out. Last week, we talked about the movie The Wizard. I don't know if you remember that one. That's on the channel as well, Running It Back every Thursday. Joining me on the show today, Patrick Lopez, fellow comedian, fellow Patrick, joins me and we discuss a variety of things. Mainly what it's like growing up as a Patrick, what we endured, variations of our name that we had to deal with in school years after that, and ultimately our feelings about it now, how it came to be. A little Patrick on Patrick crime in this episode. Had a really good talk with him. Hadn't seen him in a while too, so we got to break it down, see where we're at. Kind of a check-in, if you will. Great episode. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Running It Back with Patrick Lopez right now. Joining me on the screen today is friend, comedian, fellow Zoom screen share, Patrick Lopez. Fellow Patrick.
Hello, downloadable pal, whatever you need. It's all good.
We are here. Thanks for joining me, man.
Oh, anytime. Thanks for having me, man.
We've been crossing paths on a few Zoom shows.
Indeed.
Here and there. And
Indeed.
It's kind of funny because, like, at first I'm like, oh, these Zoom shows are fun. You get to see faces again. And now I just look at what everybody lives in. I just look at everybody's apartment. I'm like,
that is my nightmare.
What are you renting? Are you renting that?
Yeah, I literally put this thing here just to make it look like someone lived here, because the very first Zoom show I didn't have it. So it just looked completely empty and it looked like I was squatting here.
Yeah. I did a Zoom show in the early days of Zoom shows, like 7 months ago, and someone did it in their car while they were driving. And the host was like, I think we need to make a rule about this, guys.
That's so funny, because like on 2 shows ago, I got heckled by someone closing a car door and then ding, ding, and then it just stayed like that for like 30 seconds.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the new world.
The background. And then it's just inevitable. It ends up becoming the same shit, just in computer world, where you see the same faces and they start their little bits. You're like, you're doing that bit again?
No one cares about. Yeah, nobody's dating right now. Nobody cares about this.
I know.
Move on.
I was doing one. I was on a Tuesday schedule where I was like, every Tuesday I'm going to do one. And then I realized, the same people are kind of there, so you get to know them. I was doing one with this one lady, and she was from Hawaii. And it was pretty cool. You're like, oh, check it out. Hawaii. What time is it there? I don't know what it is about Hawaii people that feel the need to greet everybody with the hang loose thing. Like, I'm in Hawaii. I'm like, we got, how many do Hawaii people do that to other Hawaii people?
I have a feeling like there's like a private chat. They're like, watch, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right now. Watch it. Watch their faces.
That's true. And then we've all become the chats too. We're
yes.
And we see everybody's faces go like this, and then you don't get a chat, and you're like, oh shit, they're talking shit about me.
Yeah, my favorite is when you end a set and then you see someone do this. Cool.
obvious texting.
Yeah.
We never, we know we're too smart for that. We're getting
Yeah.
dumb in some categories, but at the same time, we're very, very wise when it comes to people nodding off and doing other things while we're
Yeah.
talking.
You think a comedian isn't checking everybody narcissistically? Come on, it's
Oh
happening.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
so you're like, oh, what's this chick about? Oh, let me do a quick
Like,
Instagram
I-
search right here.
as I'm talking, I'm watching every single square.
Mm-hmm. You're
Who's
like
not listening?
private account. Who do you think you're kidding? Come on.
Is that Jeopardy? Are you watching Jeopardy over me?
Oh my God, yeah. And then just think like we're talking about it. Think of the kids who are doing Zoom school. How
Oh my
fast
God.
would you build a distraction zone for yourself if you were taking Zoom school right now?
I would have the exact same setup I have. I have my laptop right here and then a second monitor right here. And I would set my camera here and just be playing video games. So it looks like I'm listening.
Yep. Video
It's
games.
100% what I would do.
I would have like ESPN or Monday Night Football or something right here off screen.
Mhm.
I would have, some CBS daytime going right here. I would have a stack of magazines right here. Yeah, I would do nothing. I would do no
Yeah.
school. School has no chance this year.
Yeah.
There's too much. I would blanket over the head. It would be
Yeah.
no education's going on. There's no way.
Absolutely not. I would be the one that would figure out the way that would get kicked off of being able to show video. I would find the one thing that they'd be like, you know what, just keep your video off, and then I'm free to do whatever I want.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're the kid who gets kicked out but likes being kicked out.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, yeah. We're in the Zoom world now.
Crazy.
It's here to stay.
How-
Patrick, though, interesting though. You're from Utah. I used to live in
Yes.
Utah also.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Where are
We
you
talked
from?
about this. I grew up in a small town called Kanab, Utah, southern Utah.
You got to
it-
spell it for people who don't know
Yeah.
Utah spelling.
Kanab, keep driving. It is very much a town that you've driven through. Like everybody has driven through it at some point. If you've been to Zion, you drove through Kanab. You will never
Yeah.
stay there. You will never go there on purpose.
I've sure driven through it a couple of times.
Yeah.
There's some other cities in Utah that are very Utah pronounced. There's one called Manatee. Is that right?
Something like that.
Are you
Yeah.
familiar with that? And it's spelled
Yeah.
really weird. There's a couple
Yes.
of them that you really don't learn until someone corrects you who's
Yes.
from there, because you can't read it and know it. How big is Kanab?
It's about like 3,000 people was what it was at when I left. Right around there. Tiny.
Mhm.
My graduating high school class was like 56 people, something like that.
Whoa,
So it's tiny.
that is tiny.
Yeah.
And how long did you live there for?
I lived there from it would have been like 7 years, from 12 to end of high school. Then I failed right at the end of high school.
The formative
there.
years.
Yes. Yeah.
So you claim that as your hometown, right? That
yeah,
counts.
it depends on who's asking, I suppose. For the most part, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I usually leave it vague.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's like West Coast. I grew up on the West
Mm.
Coast.
I claimed Southwest for a long time too. I lived in a bunch of cities. None of them, like, sometimes you bring up a city and you're gonna have to answer to that city. So,
Yes.
So you don't want to bring it up. You're like, Southwest. I grew up in the West.
Yeah, that's
know,
exactly
like-
what Kanab is for me.
Mhm.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to do that. Yeah, it's so weird like that. But yeah, Utah. Do you get asked a lot about Utah since you've moved away from there?
Usually it's how many wives do you have? Classic question.
Mhm.
Never heard that one before ever. Get asked about Mormonism a lot.
Mhm.
That's about it. I would say those are the top two things for sure.
Those are the good ones. I would factor
Yeah.
in the alcohol rules.
Yeah,
They-
that too.
Probably another question people are
Caffeine. Yeah.
curious about. Caffeine. Yeah, I would
For
get asked
sure.
about that. I moved there when I was 26. I moved to Salt
wow.
Lake City. So I was
Okay.
an outsider. And then I would get asked all the stuff about the religious stuff. And I grew up Catholic. So I was like, hey,
Sure.
this religion isn't that crazy. All right. We believe some crazy stuff too. All right. Slow it down.
Just newer crazy. Yeah, exactly.
We think an Easter bunny goes to our backyards and hides eggs. So let's ease up with the magic glasses. All right. Not that crazy. But I would get asked, the wives thing is a favorite.
Yes.
And then I was thinking, like, you can always tell who wrote the rules when it comes to religious crazy rules. You're like, all right, husbands, No sex outside of marriage. Got it. No sex outside of marriage. Hey, but what if I have 3 marriages? You're good? You're good. I got it.
Write it down. Put in the rules.
I like it. I think I know who wrote this rule. All right, dudes. I'll figure it out. All right. A little less obvious, please.
What was that? The government said no. To Utah we go. Let's go.
Keep it moving west, everybody. Pack it up. Also, the alcohol. We have all the weird alcohol rules about how you can no doubles. The volume is different. Bars have different rules.
When I was growing up, I knew a ton of people that would drink the non-alcoholic beer, which seems 10 times more psychopathic than just drinking to me.
Definitely.
Yeah, like nobody who's drinking for the taste. Like I don't understand that.
Right. It boggles my mind that a non-alcoholic beer is still in production.
Yeah.
It definitely would be like, oh yeah, we tried it and the public didn't go. It's still in production. Who's buying it?
Utah.
I guess Utah. And then of course, sometimes I like when locals like to shit on their own city. And I would move there and be like, oh yeah, I'm liking it. This is a great place. We consume the most porn. The most porn. You're like, I get it.
You're going to watch it.
Yep. Most abuse of prescription meds. I'm like, are you shitting on your own city, man?
Who are you arguing against?
Right. Like I said, I liked it.
Yeah. What are you doing? I'm leaving. Don't worry.
Like porn and pills. Where's the bad part?
Yeah. That sounds awesome, man. What are you talking about?
I like how, at least where I was living in northern Utah, it seemed Salt Lake had the most simultaneously in shape, active, outdoorsy people and the most out of shape, obese people within 8 miles of each other.
Yeah.
People were like, oh yeah, I ran 3 marathons last year. What about you? I haven't left the house.
My experience has been Southern Utah is that person is the same person. And the only thing that changes is time. So they will be the active person for a year. Then in 2 years, they become that obese, inactive person very quickly.
Oh, that's true. Maybe the fit person becomes the out of shape person down the road.
It is quite insane how quickly people will change. It's weird.
Yeah. I wonder how that happens. I guess I could see the outdoorsy folks are attracted to that part of the country because you have so much outdoors activities at your fingertips.
Yeah.
At the same time, so many people are super out of shape there. So it's a weird mix.
It's strange. I feel like just looking as an observer at this point, a lot of those people, by the time they're 23, have accomplished everything they were going to do. And so they're just whatever now. Now it doesn't matter. That.
That's true.
Yeah. It's very bizarre.
It's just a total melting pot of fried food.
Yes.
At that place.
Yes.
So weird. But yeah, did you go back there?
I haven't been back in a little bit. I go back every couple of years because my parents still live there.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of trade off who goes where.
Yeah, it's interesting. I go back there maybe once a year to see friends and stuff like that, to do shows and stuff, of course.
Nice.
But it always trips me out. I'm like, I used to live here. I think that's true of any city you used to live and you moved away.
Yes.
So I know now that it's not that weird, but I go there, I'm like, this is like a mountain town opened up a city. Because you got the trucks, you got the mountains, and it doesn't take long before I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm back. This is cool. I like it. But initially, you're like, wow, I lived here for 10 years. This is a weird existence. And then you like it. It's so weird. Your hometown, you go to your old room at your parents' house. It's the same way. I used to sleep in this bed.
My existence was nothing. It was so simple back then.
Yeah, really. You go walk your old high school or something. You're like, this school is small. Everything feels small.
It definitely does. And then there's no, in my small town, there's 2 stores. The nearest Walmart's 80 miles away. So everything just feels insane to me now. We could just go to Target.
Yeah. In the small town, what do you do? What's the fun activities to do there?
I never figured that out.
No.
I ended up learning a bunch of musical instruments on my own time just because I literally had nothing else to do. It was just a pure boredom move. So I ended up learning 12 instruments total just to pass the time. Yeah.
Wow. What instruments?
Well, let's see. I played guitar, I played drums, I played bass, piano, played accordion for a little while. I played viola, I played violin, I played a little cello, and now I'm drawing blanks on everything else.
Wow.
But
Hello.
yeah, so
Well, and you picked this up and you just got proficient at it. No
yeah, I
lesson?
mean,
How
no,
was your
not really. I mean, like the classical instruments, like classes and stuff like that, like in high school for sure. But everything else, like guitar, drums, bass, it was just I had a garage and nothing to do, so you just figured it out with YouTube and stuff.
uh-huh. Wow. What's your
Yeah,
favorite instrument? What did you spend the most time on?
still guitar. It's the only one I really like keep up with now.
Uh-huh.
The other ones, like I just dabbled now.
I see. Oh, wow. Do you have a music background? Is that your other
It was
area of interest?
yeah, it definitely was what I thought I was gonna do before comedy really took over. I thought I was gonna be in bands for sure. Like I had like two or three different bands through high school and whatnot, and then it just kind of felt like I can do this, I like this, but it doesn't feel like it just felt mediocre to me. I guess like I just didn't feel like I was doing the next thing or had anything new to say. So then I went to audio school, and that's what got me to move to Phoenix. I attended audio school for a couple years, got a degree in that, spent $40,000 to go. You know what? It's actually comedy I want to do. That's what it
Mm.
was. And then yeah, then I moved here.
So, yeah, with music, I always marvel at people who have musical talent because it's like seems like another language that I fully cannot speak or understand, but I know it's good when I hear it. I always kind of
Sure,
make the joke, if you want to like get into riding a bicycle, you can go out your door and start riding a bicycle and enjoy it. If you want to get
sure.
into playing a guitar, you can't pick up a guitar and play the guitar. It takes
No.
so much practice. So I was at like a Christmas party once and someone went up to a piano and started playing these like great songs on the piano. And I'm sitting there like, man, I wish I could do something. I wish there was something
I
I could do.
Yeah, and then like even like when I self-taught myself, it's still like there's still a disconnect between me and like actual musicians. Like I liken it to like whenever I talk to like one of my dad's friends, because my dad's from El Salvador, and his friend taught himself English through TV, so he knows how to speak English, but it's not quite right. And that's how
Mhm.
I feel like I am when I'm talking to people that actually do this like for a living. Like I can fumble through a conversation, but I'm like,
I
I'm not a
see.
musician. Like
Oh,
I don't know
really?
what the hell
Oh,
you're talking about.
I didn't think of it that way. I
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Right, right. I didn't think of music as a fluent language, but yeah, that makes total
Yeah.
sense that you put it that way.
Yeah, it's like, well, the chord, I don't, I just do the thing, and that's what they did, so I did that
Mhm.
too, and it sounded right.
Right. Just like broken English, you can have a broken
Yes.
sort of musical knowledge. And then you moved to Phoenix to go to audio. What's audio school?
So it was an audio engineering school. So I really got into it because I wanted to go into game design for video games or sound design for video games. And yeah, it just didn't really work out. Like everything kind of fell apart at the last minute. And then I just didn't like that side of it. I don't like the engineering side of it. I liked the creative part. So it
So
just
you were
wasn't my
interested
thing.
in video games and wanted to create video games?
It was like sound design for video games. So like
Sound
basically,
design.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So I
What's
met
sound design for video games? What does that
so
mean?
there's what I really want to get into was called Foley, and they do it for movies too. So basically, you're just staring at whatever they've designed in the game, and you have to go create those sounds, like with whatever. So
Huh.
I thought that was really cool and like a way I could be creative, but it just didn't. I initially went because I met some guys that worked in the industry, and they encouraged me to go to the school. And they're like, "We'll even set you up with an internship, so as soon as you're done, you can go there." And while I was at school, they got fired, and then they never went back into the industry, so it just
Mm.
all fell apart. And then I was like,
What
you know what?
what is a good example of a sound or music in a video game? Like say I might know.
What kind of games do you like? Let's go there.
Well, I played games through the early 2000s and now if I play anything, I play the simple ones. I always say you don't need a complicated game to hook someone. If
Sure,
anything, you need a simple game like
sure.
Tetris or Candy Crush or a modified ping pong that you can do instantly. And then you just kind of just go and go and go. So I sort
Yeah.
of remember those. And then sports games too, I would sort of play.
Ping pong is a great example actually, because basically what you'd be looking at when they design the game is the ping pong table with nothing. There's no sound, so they need someone to go out there and record. And sometimes you use the actual sound of what the pinball machine sounds like, but sometimes that doesn't cut it. It doesn't sound realistic, so you have to like create and do whatever you want. If you ever watch, like, you can like Google like Foley artists for movies. It's the most interesting thing. Like, you'll see like when it's like a boxing movie, for instance, when they're punching, they're actually like punching like raw meat, because that's what makes that
Oh, I
specific
see.
sound. So that's what I kind of wanted to do, and yeah, like I said, it just didn't pan out for me. So comedy it became.
And then you turned to comedy.
Yes.
How was that transition? You started comedy, you instantly liked it, or did it take a while?
Comedy was constantly running through the background this entire time. While I lived in Arizona, I ended up because that background, and I had another friend who ended up working on a comedy tour, and so they ended up needing video editors. So I got on through that because I had the audio side of things, and I worked on that for I think like a summer right around there for like one solid tour. And that's what made it really go like, oh, this is like a job people can do. Like
Mm.
there's good stuff in this, and that's what made it like realistic. But like I've always like wanted to do comedy. I just didn't know how until then.
Hmm. Yeah, I think once you kind of see it done, you kind of like, oh, you could put the pieces together. Like, oh, if I do this, I could do this. And also
Exactly.
comedy, as far as creative goes, it's the least amount of production needed of all the
Yes.
creative. You go stand there and you need a microphone and that's
Yeah.
it. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally.
You don't need you don't need effects, you don't need music, you need an
Exactly.
amplified voice, and that's about it. I mean, a captive
Yeah.
audience, but you don't need any production. You're just doing it.
Yeah. I mean, like, look what we're doing here. It just took us like a quick little switch, and we're still doing the same amount of thing, but we're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it. We're still
Hmm.
providing hours of entertainment without that. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dig
It's
it.
the most kind of purest form of entertainment, or maybe not even entertainment, but just amusement, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
like anyone who can speak really well can jump past so much production and
Absolutely.
captivate from there. So yeah, I was more of the same thing. It's like, oh, look at this. This person is just speaking.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting and entertaining. And he's the smartest guy in the room. I want to be like that. That seems, and what do? I sign up and I come back. Oh, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, done. Yeah, exactly.
I
And
want to try. Yeah.
they're having fun. Like it's like a good time. Like,
Right. Yeah. It looks like
yeah,
everybody's
like
having fun.
yeah.
Yeah,
Even a
definitely.
bad show is still fun. Like you still have a good time. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And then
take
it's
that.
repetitive. You can keep going, go,
And
yeah, multiple times. You sort of like trudge along.
yeah, that was like the most fascinating thing to watch for me is just like how not even like repetitive in a bad way, but just like how much of it is like a pre-built act, but how it lets you have fun. I loved it. I love watching
Mhm.
how that all worked together.
Did you see some comedy shows early on? Who did you watch that
Yeah.
impressed you or made you think?
Uh yeah, I definitely was late to watching live comedy. I remember I think like Greg Proops was my very first one I saw live, I believe. And then like I saw Patton Oswalt shortly after that, and then like yeah, just like Mark Maron, all that stuff. And then that's when it really was like, oh yeah, like I want to fill these places up and like make everyone fucking laugh for an hour and a half. That sounds amazing.
Mhm. How has been your experience in Los Angeles? How long have you lived in LA?
I'm coming up on my 5th year in
Mhm.
November. I'll be here 5 years. It was great. Like I like it a lot. There's so much to do, and so, like it's never boring. I mean, like you could do a new bar show every week, which I thought was really cool. It's constantly changing. And then we got to Corona, and now I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're in a ultimate pause here in
yeah,
Los Angeles with shows.
yeah. It's quite possible we might be the last two comedians left in LA.
I think California's ultimate goal is to be locked down the longest.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Of course. We knew that was going to happen.
We're oddly competitive in the wrong direction. You know, California's like,
Yes.
we're gonna be the biggest provider of solar. But like, great, California, that's what they do
Yeah.
there. Now we're like, you know what? We're not gonna do shit for the longest.
There will be no virus.
We know everybody stay outside all the time. Don't look at me in the eyes either. Keep it away from me. We're gonna just ride this thing out, and then we're gonna point fingers at
Yes.
Florida.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
California's
Exactly.
ultimate goal is to just look down their nose at Florida.
Yeah. Look what you've done to us. How could
Look
you?
Look at those rubes. That should be our state motto. Like, look at those rubes. Ultimately, I was thinking California has the most hate for outside states because if you think about it, so many people move here from other states and they're
Yes.
inherently mad at their old homes. You know, you
Yes.
move here because either, you know, maybe you move here because you have ambition, but more so you move here because you're like, fuck them, I'll show them.
Yeah.
I'll show my stepdad a thing or two. So you're kind of angry. You can have anger inside of you. So
Yes.
we have extra turbo juice when it comes to getting angry at other states. You're like, look at those rubes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't live there anymore. I got out of there.
We have extra incentive because we probably are from where we're shitting talking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Kind of like where you make fun of people at your old high school or something.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's
I
exactly what I was thinking.
Built into a lot of the population. Maybe New York has this too, just the two big metropolitan areas.
Yeah.
Like, you got to inherently be like, look at those guys. I got out of there.
Fucking Utah. What do they know?
Utah, what do you know? It's good that this attitude has got us locked down for going on 9 months now. So I'm saying this is a total wrong attitude to have.
Yeah. Don't do this. Don't come here.
And every once in a while, a small state or city does something good or whatever. And we go like, that's cute. You know, we don't even give them the due.
Yeah.
We don't give them the due credit. You're like, look at that. Good for them. Good for them.
They finally did something. That's so nice.
Yeah. How about that? It's great. It's great. They got outdoor bar. They've got a rooftop bar. That's cute.
Yeah.
You know, give them the due credit.
Yep, exactly.
Well, my curiosity as a fellow Patrick was your experience having the Patrick name. I had some thoughts on it. Patrick, number one, yours and my experience may be similar. We have the Patrick first name, but we have the Hispanic last name.
Yes.
Number two, there really aren't that many Patricks.
No.
That I've come to. There really are not that many.
No.
So it kind of has this odd experience, and it is sort of an interesting name too. I remember growing up as a Patrick, it took me a long time to get comfortable with everybody calling me Pat.
100%.
I did not like it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I just gave in around my teenage years and it got a lot better. But I mainly didn't like it because as a kid at the time, there was an SNL character named Pat. And it was this ambiguous, they didn't know if it was a female or male. And they spend the whole episode figuring it out and they never figure it out. So everybody would call me Pat. Like the character would be like, check it out. It's Pat. And I'd be like, shut up. Shut up.
Patrick.
Right.
Yes.
And then I finally gave up after 10 years of excruciating pain. I was like, you know what? If you just let them call you Pat, then it's probably not a big deal. How was your experience? Did you hate it being?
I definitely hated it. Yeah, I definitely hated it for sure. It was a very similar experience. I always felt like I was getting bullied when people would call me Pat. It never felt genuine. And I would say around the same amount of time, about like 10 years into having that be the name, I think I just started calling myself Pat. And then someone pointed out, they're like, you get mad, but you just called yourself Pat. I'm like, oh, fuck. I guess you're right. I guess it's Pat now, whatever. Like, it just became easier.
I think every Patrick, part of the maturity is accepting being called Pat. I think, you know, we all grow up, we learn as we go, but as a Patrick, you have to accept being called Pat.
Yes.
At some point. That's how you know you've sort of turned the corner. Yeah, I never introduce myself as Pat. I'm always Patrick, but I would say 90% of people call me Pat.
Yeah, I would say the same for me too. Yeah, especially in shorthand, like emails, texts, whatever. It's always like, ask Pat. I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's fine.
Yeah. I have friends who have kids, and I would say the only benefit of it, it's an easy name for children to learn too. So pretty quickly they know to call you Pat, and it's kind of cute and enduring, except I did have one friend who, as a joke, he would call me Patsy. And then his goddamn kids picked it up, and his kids are like, what's up, Patsy? I was like, oh, are you even going to parent these kids?
I have not had that experience. That is so much worse.
I only had one, but yeah, he would call me Patsy. And of course I just let it slide. And then his kids picked it up and I was livid.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, how are you with the Patrick and Hispanic last name? What experience did you have with that?
It's a weird thing for sure. Like, and I don't think I've really like understood how weird it is until like recently. Especially like growing up, like I very much grew up like my mom is white, my dad is El Salvadorian, like I said. I think I very much like you can tell from the way that I'm dressed, grew up in the white experience. I grew up in southern Utah, like, and I didn't really understand it. But then like as I'm getting older, I realize like how much especially back in the southern Utah days, like they were very clearly to me expressive that I was not part of them. Like I was not white. So it was a very weird experience.
I see.
For sure.
Oh, interesting.
And even now, like I still get kind of weirded out, like, cause I'll get, and I don't know if you've had this experience, like I'll get booked on like Hispanic lineups, but without any like consultation about it. And I always feel really weird about it. Cause I'm like, I don't know if I should, like, I don't like, cause I am technically, but like, I don't know if there's other people that deserve this spot more than me. Like, it's really weird.
Wow, you have the weird, you know how Catholics say, like, I got the Catholic guilt. You got Hispanic guilt.
I haven't, exactly.
Weird.
It's the beanie.
How come your parents named you Patrick? Did they ever tell you?
I know that they have, but I cannot for the life of me remember right now. I know that they did. I want to say it was something stupid, like they saw it in a book or something. I know it wasn't important. They're going to get mad at me if they watch this.
I think my parents just liked the name. I don't think there was any rhyme or reason other than like, we like the name.
That's what I remember.
In a predominantly Hispanic area in Texas. So everybody was Hispanic. I never knew, I seriously didn't know anybody was not Catholic till I was 20 years old. So I moved. Like we had one Jewish kid in school and we're like, what a wacky thing that dude's into. I just thought everybody was Catholic. Everybody was Hispanic.
That's funny.
Everybody knew enough Spanish to get by until I went to college and people were like, you're Hispanic? I was like, yeah, I sure am. They're like, what part? Of what? Like, just Hispanic. I never knew there was an origin to it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Spanish or South America. I don't know. I see Mexico. I've been by. I saw that movie. Did you ever see the movie Traffic? Yeah, that's where I lived. Yeah, I never knew there was more to it until I went to college, and then I would realize that it was a weird sort of a name combination. Patrick and Hispanic last name too.
Yeah.
But when I have the same experience in the book shows for Latino night, Hispanic night.
Yes.
But I have no problem with it just because I grew up around every Hispanic stereotype there ever was. Although sometimes I get on there and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the white dude.
Yeah.
I'm the white dude in this group. That's for sure.
That's kind of like how I feel about it. Is just like when I get on, it's like, oh, you guys weren't looking for me. Oh, well.
Yeah. I like how in every Hispanic group, at some point, somebody gets called Flaco.
Yes.
Every group there's going to be a Flaco in the group. I grew up with maybe in my lifetime, 6 different Flacos.
Yes.
And it's just the tall, skinny dude is Flaco.
Yep, exactly.
Then they had this. This one didn't have so many. And this one was a touch more on the vulgar side. There was always a dude who had a big ass and his name was Nalga. There was always Nalga. And then that dude would just be like, what's up, Nalga? What's going on, guys? No rhyme or reason to it.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's amazing.
I grew up some great nicknames, some Hispanic, some non. There was a dude in my high school. His name was Hector Duran. And it's unclear to me if he was a dwarf or a midget or had a glandular issue, but he was 4 feet tall and he was huge. He was a tank. He looked like a boulder. And everybody called him Biscuit. He was Biscuit for 3.5 years. I had no idea his name was Hector till senior year.
Oh man.
Ruthless. And it would be like, we're all going in the truck. Who's coming? Paco, Mario, and Hector. Who's Hector? Biscuit. Oh, Biscuit. It's Biscuit.
Oh man, that's amazing. See, these are the experiences I missed in Southern Utah.
Really? Not a lot.
It's not just white people. Not a lot of fun like this.
I would also add this. I don't know if this rings true or not in Hispanic groups. Someone is also always named Smiley. There's always a Smiley too. I knew a couple of
Yes.
those. You had a Smiley, you had a Flacco, and then depending on your group, Biscuit.
Yes, yes. These are I work at a I work at a warehouse nearby, and that's who works there. All those people.
Right.
You nailed it.
Yeah. Well, I thought it would be good to do a little Patrick name rundown
All
throughout
right.
history. Go through this and see. I got a couple categories. I want to see what you found.
All
I
right.
found out a few as well. First category of Patrick's is historical. My historical Patrick, I didn't find a lot for this.
Not a lot. No.
I didn't find a lot of historical Patrick. So I went with Patrick Henry.
Ooh,
That's
good.
my historical Patrick.
Good. I went with my historical Patrick is the one that I aspire to be, which is Saint Patrick,
That's
because
the only other one I found too.
yeah, yeah,
Right,
because nobody really knows why he's a saint or what he's about, but everybody drinks for his day, and I'm totally about that.
That's true. We get it's almost like we have a second birthday with St.
Yes,
Patrick's Day.
yes,
We always got a little extra, like, oh, check it out, Patrick, St. Patrick's Day. I always thought that was cool. We always got a little extra juice.
absolutely. It's the one time I don't have to beg for a comedy show booking. I will get one.
That's true. That's true.
I-
I went to school with a guy whose birthday was on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, and he was named Paul.
Ooh,
Oh,
how did you miss that?
you're halfway there. Why didn't the parents
Yeah.
just go all the way? You named him Paul. I never understood it.
His life could have been legendary.
Could have been.
It could have been.
My
That's
running
disappointing.
joke on St. Patrick's Day was always, and I would say nobody ever found it amusing. People would be like, St. Patrick's Day, right? Happy St. Patrick. I'd be like, oh yeah, St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Aruba. That's right. It would always be my little stupid joke. And people like, no, he didn't. I'd be like, nope. All right, moving on.
That's not how it goes. It's like, you don't know. You just want to drink. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
the story.
also, I've never lived in a city that has the big St. Patrick's Day celebration, but I have some family that lives in Chicago, and it's a whole day. It's like people
Yeah.
are lined up at bars to get in at
Yeah.
11 in the morning. It's a whole holiday. So I can't say I've experienced that, although I do appreciate that. I could be down with that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Ironically, I used to live above an Irish bar when I first moved to LA.
Mm.
I lived on top of one, and every St. Patrick's Day, I fucking hated it. So there's that.
Oh, really? So you have
Yeah.
experienced St. Patrick's
Yeah.
Day celebrations here in LA.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's my day. Shut up. Like, I just
Yeah,
want to go
really.
to bed. Like,
The Patrick should get a pass on that day for whatever
Yes.
they want to do, whether they want to party, whether they don't want to party. I think you should get the pass.
I should at least be consulted, is what I'm saying.
You know how you can get a free meal at Denny's on your birthday if you show your ID?
Yes.
Same with St.
Yes.
Patrick. You show your ID, they're like, all right, you can do whatever.
Guinness. You can have one Guinness. Here you go. I'm
Yeah,
all
there
for
you
that.
go.
I'm all for
Guinness.
that.
Excellent. Okay, next category. Film and TV. Film and TV Patrick's. A lot of choices here.
Lots of choices.
Lots of choices. I went with Patrick Duffy.
Ooh, good choice. Good
Film and
choice.
TV. I just think that he looks like he looks like a Patrick. In fact,
Yeah.
they should, whatever TV show he's in, keep the name. Keep him
Yeah.
as Patrick.
Yeah.
He
He doesn't look
need-
like anything else. Yeah, he doesn't need another name.
Yes.
Uh,
I went Patrick Duffy.
I went because throughout quarantine, I've been going through a lot of old movies because I have nothing else to do. I'm going with the legendary Patrick Swayze.
Oh, very
Gotta do it.
nice.
Yes, got to
Very
do it.
nice.
Roadhouse is a classic.
Great hair, great
Yes.
great jaw.
Yep.
Where do you rank Patrick Swayze movies? What's your hierarchy of Swayze movies?
Oh man, they're all fucking phenomenal.
I'm
you
trying
gotta.
to- I'm trying to think. of
Roadhouse
someone-
is number one. Roadhouse is number
Roadhouse
one.
Number one. Okay.
Let's see. What else we want to put in there?
How do you feel about Ghost?
Ghost is like, it's right here. You got to keep it in the middle because people
Okay.
love it. It's not my favorite. Roadhouse
Okay.
is my favorite.
What's it? I'm sure I can't even think of a third Patrick Swayze movie. I know there's a bunch, but I can't even think of one at the moment.
I'm not lightly Googling below the screen here. Don't worry.
I can picture in my head the famous SNL sketch where he does the
Oh,
Chippendale dance with Chris Farley,
yes.
of course. That one's
Classic.
great. Oh, I'm leaving out Dirty Dancing, of
I was
course.
just gonna say Dirty Dancing. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In an alternate universe, Patrick Swayze is in Footloose, right? He could be that guy in Footloose, couldn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
You went with the Swayze. I got a few
Yeah.
honorable mentions for film and TV. I got Patrick Dempsey. I got Pat Sajak.
I was gonna
And
pick him.
well, what is that? I still don't fully understand what Pat Sajak is. I don't even know what Sajak is as a last name either.
Yeah.
If that's made up or not, I don't know. But
We need him on this.
think the true turning point of Pat is when you say the person's name in the full Patrick and it sounds weird.
Yeah,
Patrick Sajak.
Sajak.
It doesn't work.
That's not his name. Yeah, that's not his name.
No. And then finally, Pat Morita, Mr.
Oh,
Miyagi
nice.
himself, Pat Morita.
Yes, yes, iconic.
Yes, all honorable mentions there. All right, I got a third category. This one's a fun one. Fictional Patricks. We already mentioned Pat, the SNL character.
Mm-hmm.
I went for my fictional from the movie American Psycho, Patrick Bateman.
Ooh, that's a solid choice.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Fictional Patrick. That's a good one. I like that
one.
movie. He sounds like, sometimes in the back of my head, anybody who's named Patrick is a secret asshole too.
Yes.
I think he got that potential, and I think he hits that well.
Yeah, absolutely. I went with the one that haunts me throughout my entire life, which was Patrick Star. It's the common thing I get from people. Quotes from SpongeBob.
I didn't think to include that. Yeah. Patrick, SpongeBob's friend.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. If you have kids or your friends have kids, that's what they're going to associate you with. Probably for
good formative years, at least.
Mm-hmm. What is that? What happens in that cartoon? I don't know it. I've never watched it.
He's basically the buffoon is the easiest way to put it. He's the lovable idiot. Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. So it comes up a lot.
You could not go more opposite of Patrick Swayze than Patrick.
I know.
Star.
We'll see. And that's like, for me, that's what it is. Patrick Swayze is who I aspire to be, and Patrick Star is who I am. That's how it goes.
Yeah, that's true. All right, my last category. This one is called Potpourri. So this one is all bets are off for this category of Patrick's. Here's what I got. I got a few honorable mentions too, but my Potpourri Patrick Award winner goes to Pat Benatar.
Ooh, good one.
Good singer, punky chick, lots of 80s hits. Pat Benatar was my Potpourri category.
I like that. I spent a stupid amount of time on this one because I was like, who is someone that I love, right? It has to be someone that I personally love, but should stand out on their own category. Like they shouldn't get lumped into all the, whatever. And I went with Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart deserves to stand on his own.
For Potpourri. Interesting.
Yeah. So runner-up choice was going to be Danica Patrick.
I wrote that down too. That's a good Potpourri. And then I had Pat Robertson too.
Ooh, good Potpourri.
One. Evangelical Pat Robertson. Yeah. What is Patrick Stewart? He's English or what is his ethnicity?
He is English. Yeah.
He's English. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a few. What else did I have? Oh, I wrote some sports ones too. I noticed a few sports ones. You got Patrick Ewing.
Yep.
Pat Riley and Patrick Mahomes, who I often hear referred to as Pat Mahomes. So he deals with it too.
We got to get him on.
That would be good.
Yeah. He's not busy, right?
Hey, Pat Mahomes, we don't really care about football or anything. But hey, when you grew up, were you called Pat?
How did you handle being called Pat? What do you do? Help us.
Mahomes, right? Pat, why'd your parents name you Pat?
It's a weird name, man. It's a weird name.
I always enjoy an interview where the interviewee thinks it's going one way and it goes totally opposite way. There's an old SNL sketch like that where Chris Farley just says like, "That's awesome" to Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. I enjoy it. All right, I got a curveball for you though.
Shit, let's go.
All right. the best Patrick representation. Who would you
Ooh.
give that to? I mean, you said mine. I went Patrick Stewart as the best Patrick
Patrick's
representation because he's elegant. He's kind of he's like a nobleman. He's a statesman.
yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that he was the captain of a starship from Star Trek too. So
And an X-Man. Yeah.
oh, that's true too. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. So my
He's
best
like
Patrick representation goes to Patrick Stewart.
you know what? I can't fight that. It has to be Patrick Stewart. I think that like that is in full agreement there.
Well,
He's
you're making a
everything
strong
Patrick wants to
case.
be.
You're
Yeah.
making a strong case for Patrick Swayze too.
He's right there. He's right. He's like it's 1A, 1B, but I think just in everything that I love, like, you know, comic books, stuff
Just
like that.
as a career, I think
And yeah,
you have to give it to Patrick
exactly.
Stewart. I'm going to give Patrick Swayze a little bit more of the Bo Jackson award because
I
we
dig
lost
that.
him early. He was
Yeah.
he was a shooting star for a brief amount of time.
Yes.
We don't know his full potential, so I might give him the Bo Jackson.
I dig that.
He was done too soon. What else did I have? Pat Sajak is just time. He's kind of my 6-man off the bench award.
I dig that.
Who's gonna? Who doesn't like Pat Sajak? What is
Yeah.
do we even know what he's about? I don't think we do.
No, but everybody knows him. And isn't that
Everybody
like
knows him. I don't know if he's married with
hold on.
children. I don't know if he's a crazy conservative guy or something or a religious.
Might be.
I don't know.
I don't know, but like now that I think about it, he might have to be the quintessential Patrick, because if you think about historically Patrick's, St. Patrick is the one, and it's the one that everybody knows, but nobody knows anything about him. That's Pat Sajak.
Mhm.
Everyone knows him. No one knows anything about this guy.
Yeah, what a mystery. Pat Sajak is number one key to being mysterious is indeterminate age. We have no idea how old he is.
He's either 50 or 100.
We have no
between.
He may be 175 years old.
Yeah.
We go through, you check the old tapes. He might have been hosting game shows in the early 1900s for all we know, where it was just a big wooden wheel built in the town square of the West Indies. Spins it. He's like, so where are you from?
You just didn't notice because you went by Patrick at the time. So
Yeah.
it's like a completely different person.
Yep. Yeah. Sajak, we have no idea what ethnicity that is. So
No.
he might be in there. He's definitely in the cabinet.
Yeah. He's like what every Patrick is. I
Mhm.
like that.
Interesting. Pat Sajak. Yeah. Well, I think that's a good breakdown of the Pats out there.
This is well worth our time.
I had a category. I couldn't find anybody for it.
Oh
But
boy.
I had a category called Evil Patricks, and I couldn't find anybody besides the fictional Patrick Bateman, but that's fictional. I was like, are there any evil Patricks out there?
I don't know. It does feel very benevolent of a name. So I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's odd to me. I was like, I think that because it could be a good evil name.
It could. That's exactly.
I think it could. What's a good evil name? I always thought a good evil name was like Sean. You know, you could see like that's an evil name. And then there's the obvious one. You name a
Sean.
kid Damien, like kid's evil.
Yeah. Like, why would you do that?
Too obvious. That's
Yeah.
too obvious. Don't name a kid Damien.
Yeah.
So-
Stay away from that section of names.
So an evil Patrick would be good somewhere down in the future.
Vote in the comments. What's an evil Patrick you like?
Mhm. Fictional or real? Saying,
Yeah.
you know what? We
We're
should
all
get started.
good people.
You know, we should get started. Let's change the name of the St. Patrick's Day holiday to St. Pat's Day.
You know, I feel like there's already 100 t-shirts made. It'd be fine.
St. Pat's. Like, you know,
Yeah.
celebrate St. Pat's. It's already
Oh my
working.
God.
I'm already
Yeah.
I'm already liking it. It doesn't have doesn't have the religious nobility feel, but it sounds fun.
It definitely feels like 1,000% more Boston. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think every Patrick should experience a true St. Patrick's Day one day in Chicago or Boston or something.
Oh,
Now that I'm thinking.
oof. Yeah. We'll put it on
Also,
the list.
what if St. Patrick had a ratty little brother who hung around him? Maybe his name can't be Patrick, but I imagine St. Patrick's little brother just running around fucking up St. Patrick's like goals in life.
God damn it.
Damn it, get away. My door's closed. You can't come in.
I got these snakes out. What are you doing?
I just got all the snakes out. What are you doing? You let them back in.
My legacy.
Yeah. St. Patrick's little brother.
Maybe that's where the drinking came in.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Excellent breakdown. Patrick Lopez, that was awesome. I think we went way deep into this, perhaps too far.
Deeper than anyone ever asked for.
All right. I hope to see you on the stage soon.
Yes, sir.
Good talking to you. Thanks, man.
Hey, you too, Val.
That is the show, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Patrick Lopez. Hey, a little Patrick on Patrick crime on that episode, right? God, did we disperse some knowledge about that name. I think I might have to change my name by tomorrow. I'm overloaded. I'm just thinking about it. Just running names in my head. Who else is Patrick? So many. Who was my ideal representation of the name? I went Patrick Stewart. I'm sticking with that. At least for now. Hey, thank you everybody for listening. Check out the Sunday Night Talk, my other show on the channel. Me and Omar Carmona, NFL Talk, and beyond. You'll love it. And Running It Back comes out every Thursday. So thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you, Internet. Thank you, Patrick Lopez. Thanks to me. See you next time.